Swiftkey is probably not yet quite enough of a household name that I can rely on you all having heard of us. But can I just do a quick show of hands and see who is familiar? Okay, so it is actually quite a few of you. So just to let you know a little bit more about Swiftkey. So we make technology that makes it easy for you to create and communicate on mobile. And the way that we do that is we employ some very clever, some very deep understanding of bleeding edge machine learning and AI modeling. We use that to produce language technology that really gets inside your head, understands how you communicate, and we then feed that into our core products. So this is our most high profile product that you can see on the photo there. It's a keyboard app. It's also called Swiftkey. It learns the way that you type. It learns the words and phrases that you use. It understands the context of your messages. It presents you with highly accurate word predictions. It's got very powerful autocorrection technology as well, and a whole bunch of other smart features, including the ability to sync your personal language model to the cloud and then to download it to all of your different devices. So all of this adds up to really significant productivity gains and a much better typing experience. This is available in about 70 different languages at the moment. We're adding more every month. And we estimate that at the moment we've got upwards of 200 million users worldwide. Last year we took some Series B funding. We took nearly $18 million of Series B funding. And that has really helped to propel us into the limelight even more than we were. We took on some quite big name investors as part of that round. We took on investment from Index Ventures. So in their portfolio they've also got companies like Asos, Net-a-Porter, notonthehighstreet.com, so probably companies that you've heard of. And we also took investment from Accel Partners. So they're a very large VC. They're headquartered in Palo Alto. Some of the companies they've also invested in at early stage are companies like Dropbox and also Rovio, who make Angry Birds. Last week was a particularly big week for us at Swiftkey, so you may have seen us covered in the tech press. The reason for that was that we shifted our revenue model and went freemium. So up until last week, we licensed to manufacturers and we were pre-installed on their devices. We also sold directly to our end customers through marketplaces like Google Play. What we've done now is we've flicked the switch to go completely free, and we're now selling optional in-app upgrades. So you can get Swiftkey free now. If you haven't already done so, I do encourage you to download it, give it a whirl. There's an option when you install it for the first time that we call out-of-the-box learning. And if you select that option, you should get a feel for the potential of the technology right from day one, because you essentially shortcut some of the initial learning curve that the software would otherwise have. So by all means, let me know what you like or what you don't like. User feedback is a really important part of our product strategy. So just before I move on, a little bit about my background. I've been at Swiftkey for 4 years. When I joined, we were 5 people working out of a really tiny room in a really tatty office in Lambeth. We didn't have any product out there in the marketplace at that time, but I'd always had an interest in business. When I was studying my A-levels, I helped my mother with her small business, and then later when I was actually studying for my degree, I also set up a couple of small businesses of my own as well. Unfortunately, they weren't particularly successful. I ended up mothballing them soon after I graduated, but I did learn a lot from the experience, and I knew it was something that I could build on in the future. So I started my time at Swiftkey wearing lots of different hats, which some of you here are probably quite familiar with that kind of thing. So I did a lot of finance, operations, HR, and even some of our legal work. But I now focus entirely on the kind of people and culture side, which is where my interest mainly lies. And I'm focused on kind of making sure that we stay squarely ahead of our competitors, and we're continuing to innovate in that space. So that was a very quick introduction to our technology. Since we were founded in 2008, we took on our first employees in 2010, so 4 years ago. Since then, we've now grown to 149 employees. Most of us are based in London by London Bridge, about 90% of us. The rest of us are spread across 2 offices, one in San Francisco and one in South Korea. As you might expect from what I just said about our technology, we're quite a brainy company, so nearly 20% of us have PhDs, around a quarter studied at Oxbridge as well. And all of that's not gone unnoticed, so there's been quite a lot of buzz around us recently. You may have seen we were featured in Wired magazine back end of last year as London's hottest startup, so we were quite pleased about that. But as well as that recognition, we've also had some recent recognition for our workplace and employment culture. So these are a couple of awards we had from earlier this year. We were awarded Best Companies 3-star accreditation, which is the highest possible level of accreditation, and that reflects the fact that we were judged to have an extraordinary level of employee engagement. And then off the back of that, we also made a place in the Times Top 100 list, and that image that you see there is the cake that one of the ladies in our finance team made to celebrate that. So this evening I'm going to talk a little bit more about our working environment at Swiftkey. I'm going to talk about what we do to make that a people-centric environment. So I don't know where Peter's gone, but he talked about business just being lots of problems. I would also probably say that business is also about a collection of people. And we really strongly believe that having a very people-centric culture really helps you to deliver your company objectives and support your business.